Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the second tutorial video of the series. Welcome back to everybody. Thank you for joining in. I hope that the last video was helpful to you. And today, if you have any questions or comments about what we do today, don't hesitate to ask in the comments section under the video, or you can even ask me in person if you happen to see me. I'd be happy to help out. So today we're shifting our focus a little bit. We're not so much worried about the process of how to solve a math scenario. If you still have questions about that, I recommend looking back at the first video to see how to break it down, how to work through cubes, etc. to get to your answer and to prove. That was the most important thing there. If there's anything unclear, then again, always ask some questions, and I'd be happy to do maybe a follow-up video to it, just to give you some more examples. But today, we're actually going to be focusing on the bottom half of this bookmark here that you saw in the last video, and it's check, work, and ask, is this answer reasonable? Essentially, we're going to be asking, after we've sort of processed through, we've done our cubes, we've read it a couple times, we've kind of chosen our strategy and how we're going to show it. At the very end, is my answer reasonable? Have I actually answered the question properly? So what you're going to see today is a pretend scenario here that's already been pre-started. You can see that it's been read a couple times, cubes has been done, and this person's already started to draw their strategy, which happens to be a number line. And they even created an estimate, what they thought the answer will be around. And it's always important as a mathematician when you're looking at a problem, reading it for the first time, kind of give yourself a number, a gauge where you think your number will be at, and this will help to really see if your answer is reasonable. So this person obviously read it once and thought, oh, number's getting smaller. I'm going to say it's probably around 8. So we're going to test to see if what they've done, their answer, is it reasonable? So I'm going to introduce you to the reasonableness loop that I created here. And this is just to get you thinking. This is just to help you process, is what you did here in the problem reasonable? Is it a solved math problem? So I'm just going to briefly go through the loop. You can kind of enter at any stage and ask yourself any question and continue on, should you please, but I always like to start at the top here where it says, did I read and understand all parts of the question and find the right math words? To me, this is probably one of the most important parts, because if you didn't understand it when you were reading it, then the likelihood is that your answer probably won't be right. It won't be reasonable. So understanding it is the key. And then, of course, finding those math words is really going to help you with your operation and what you're going to do. Then we shift over this way to, is my estimate bigger or smaller than the numbers in the math scenario? Well, let's take a look. This number here, 8, is smaller than 15, and it's not smaller than 5, so yeah, it could be likely at the first glance that maybe in this problem they're subtracting, and so this number here will get smaller and close to 8. So maybe that's what this person thought. So let's move on and see. Well, does my operation match my math words? Well, this student's boxed how many, which tells us we need a total of something, or a value of something, and then they boxed this really important word, total. When we're trying to find the total of something, that usually means that the number is increasing, it's getting bigger, which tells me that the person that did this maybe did not choose the right operation. That maybe the number isn't getting smaller, maybe that it's getting bigger, which tells me they need to go back again and read that question and really try to understand, maybe even acting out the scenario itself. If we look back and we read it, it says, Mr. Wilson went to the grocery store to buy apples. He bought one large bag of apples that had 15 apples and a small bag that had 5 apples. So already right there, if we really think about it, if you've ever gone to the store and bought something, usually you have more. Unless you're dealing with money and you're talking about how your money gets smaller once you bought something. But that's not what this problem's about. It's about buying apples and buying another bag of apples to get more apples. So already we can tell that this number here, this estimate, isn't reasonable, and their process of using the number line, starting at 15 and subtracting 5, isn't reasonable. So immediately we are going to X this out, and we're going to fix it because we already know the answer isn't reasonable without even continuing on. So let me make our number line here again, because the strategy's not bad. It's just the process that we need to fix. So we know that in our number line here, they started with a bag of 15. Boom, there's our 15. But he bought 5 more in that small bag. So let's continue on and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we jumped off. We did 5 more jumps. So we can count our jumps now. So we went 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and we landed with 20. Look at that. Our number actually got bigger. And if we go back to our reasonableness loop, all right, the number's getting bigger usually means that we're adding. So that means in our number sentence here, we can show an addition sentence. So we're going to use the numbers from our problem, 15 plus 5 equals 20. There we go. So just going back and checking our work, asking ourselves through this reasonableness loop, is our answer reasonable? We were able to go back and fix our mistake in the process and realize that it's actually addition, this total, and knowing that he's getting more apples was an important key feature. So now over here, it says, did I show the fact family or my number sentence to check? So now we've done that. We've checked it, and now we know that that's correct, okay? Then we go, did I answer this sentence with the question mark? Well, it says, how many apples does he have in total? So now we can write in the write about it section what he really has. So let's move this down here into our write about it section, which I will add. The last couple times we've done this in class, people are remembering to write their word sentence to prove what they did. So we're going to write, Mr. Wilson has 20 apples in total. And let's just get that right there. Boom. There we go. So now we've answered that question. We've actually answered the right question. Is my answer way off from my estimate? So yes, this student's estimate was way off. But the lucky thing about estimates is that it's just a first initial gauge when you're looking at your problem. So yeah, this person maybe didn't look at the problem correctly, maybe didn't really understand the problem, or didn't look at those math words to really give them a good idea. This is exactly why it's so important that after we've sort of done that bit of process, to stop and take a look at this reasonableness loop to really check to make sure that I have full understanding, I've got the right operation, I can even show the number sentence and the reverse that matches my estimate. That is one of the most key things to solving math scenarios. So we go down here, we have solved and given a sentence, and yes, we have definitely checked to make sure that this is a reasonable answer. So I hope that that was a little bit more clear. For many of you, this might be completely new. So we know that with anything new, we always got to keep practicing it, keep looking at it, keep using it, and of course, at any time we don't really understand it, always need to ask questions. That's the best way to get the information to help us learn and grow as learners. So continue to watch this video over and over again. If you have questions that pop up, feel free to ask them in the comment section. And again, like I said, you can always ask me in class too, because we'll be practicing this from now until the end of the year. My goal is that to have each and every one of you being excellent math scenario solvers by the end of grade 2 and going into grade 3 and so on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was informative. And we will catch you next time on tutorial number 3. Have a good one.